Yo, what is good, y'all? It's your boy Bolo Biggs, aka Sir Cussy. Yeah, that's a shout out to one of my viewers. So this video isn't about framing. I know what I want to do with framing. The hard part and the complicated part is actually how I'm gonna piece the steps and the information I want to relay to you guys. So bear with me on that. But I wanted to give you a walkthrough of the entire bus. Because I think it's important to what I've done up to this point. Hopefully it's not a long video. I hope you guys find it useful and get some good tips out of it. Let's just go. Speeding up here, man. I'm telling you, man, it's like being invisible up here. When you sit on the edge of a pier and you watch the sunset go down, that shit is beautiful, your legs dangling. But being up on top of a roof or anything, especially a bus, and then your feet hang off the side, being up here with the birds, it feels like you're invisible and shit. No bullshit. Fox down there fucking up some shit. I can't wait for more days like this once this bus is done. Chasing sunsets, that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna love this. Birds just, the birds are different up here, let me tell you. It's a free feeling. I don't know, I can't explain it. Well, will you look at that. More rain. Alright, we had a break. Oh, mother trucker. Starting to remove my tape and finishing up that caulk, but again, dealing with rain. But you guys get a general idea of what the color is going to look like. Oh, fuck this. I was going to do a walkthrough with you guys, what I've been up to. It's been raining non-stop, man. We had a quick break on Sunday, and I climbed up there, taped it up, because I didn't want to deal with the pollen anymore. I figured, hey, free bus wash. I got one coat on. I taped everything off, got one coat on. I was going to do a second coat, but I wasn't sure about the rain coming. Sure enough, it rained the next day. What's today? Today's Tuesday. It just won't stop raining. You know, I always talk about sitting in my bus for hours and hours, just paying attention to things. But I also sit outside for hours and hours and just look over my bus, see if I miss anything, and I always come up with something else that I can address. It's a good idea to just, again, take your time and listen to your bus. I'm under my canopy. It's slow down a little bit. Okay, where do I start with you guys? The top of the bus, every seam is caulked. Every rivet is caulked. Then I have my Tropicool up top. These rivets all the way down are caulked over. You guys probably saying, man, you caulking every rivet, every screw. It's gonna look like shit. But if you look, once I put the primer on, you really can't tell that I even have caulk on there. I mean, if you really come up close, you can see it. But once I get paint on it later, it's not gonna be, it's barely noticeable. Okay, going on. The seams where the body is, caulked. Where my my stop sign used to be, it's riveted and caulked. There's a metal plate behind here. I'm sorry, there's a metal plate behind here that holds the rivets. Caulked. I've caulked my rail because mine never had caulked and water would get trapped back there. I had to replace one of these because it rusted through. The fold that comes from the inside of the bus, outside, it folds here. I caulked that line so that the water doesn't travel. My screws, all my screws that were screws, I took out. They were rusted, and I replaced them with stainless steel, caulked. You guys saw from my last video that I'm caulking here because my gasket, I have gasket issues. the track that goes around the wheel well, there was a gap in there. It was riveted on, but there is a gap. I caulked it. I didn't understand why there was a gap to begin with. My gas cap area, it was rusted in there. I took it off the gooseneck from the inside, sanded it down, primed it, painted it a little bit. The new screws I put in, stainless steel, caulked, and I caulked the inside before I caulked the cap before I put it on, caulked the outside. Originally, I wanted to use this for my my shore power with the cap, but as I was saying, I always listen to my bus when I'm watching it. This water track that redirects the water down would have hit my shore power outlet. So what I did was I placed it on the inside, underneath, and I washed it. Water doesn't get into it. I still need to caulk around here. Rivets under there, caulked. I redid the track underneath there, caulked. I know I'm saying caulked a lot, guys, but I replaced my rail, which was really rusted out, and water was getting in there. I could see it puddling up. I ordered those from my bus lady. As each screw, stainless steel screws, caulked underneath so the water doesn't get trapped. When I replaced my lights out, I put new disc in, riveted in, caulked inside and outside. Where my fiberglass meets the body of the vehicle, every single one of those screws were replaced with stainless steel, caulked. And then I caulked underneath where the cap of the fiberglass meet the body of the vehicle. I recaulked that. The screws that were holding the bottom part was showing rust. I took those out and I replaced it with stainless steel. Here's my front end of what I've done, guys. I sanded down the rust areas in here in the housing, and I primed it up, protected it. My original mirrors were connected up top. They were rusted out, the bar, so I replaced it. I cut it down. It's not 100% vibration proof, but it's good enough for me. I'm gonna go back and paint these black, back to black. The seam that was there that had caulk, I removed it and put new caulk. Every single one of those rivets, screws, re-caulked. Down here there was a skirt. There's a gap in there. Obviously when the sheet metal meets the other piece, I went ahead and caulked that. Once I finish making sure that I'm satisfied with the prime job here, the rubber gasket in here, it holds water. I'm gonna caulk the inside, but I'm also gonna caulk the outside track with black, again used as a trim. Things like this here, I caulked the screw because water was traveling through there. I have to still go back and address that. This seam, caulked. Literally every seam that I have is caulked. As you can see, I started on this side. Again, rain was getting in this gasket part, guys, where the glass is. You see where the water's building up? Yeah, I'll come close up. See where the water builds up? It goes inside. Caulked that seam, literally every seam, all the way around. One of the great features that I did when I was worried about water getting on the upside track of the window, my aluminum window visor that I fabricated. The seams on where the flap, the sheet metal meets, caulked. What else? This is the skirt that I was talking about, guys, for the thing. I could literally put my fingernail through there. So I caulked that. Getting back here, I haven't done this window yet. Where I lift the gasket and push the caulk inside and then clean it up on the outside and then do the inside track. Where my bumper meets the body of the vehicle, I sand it down, clean out the old caulk, re-caulk that. Anywhere water can get trapped, I caulked. Back here, the window, what I showed you guys last time, is working out awesome. My light fixture for my new brake, brake light up top, when I put it on, I caulked around that just to make sure no water gets through. Same thing with these other lights down here. Where this metal plate meets, I caulked underneath there that I could get to. My light fixtures, the flashing lights, caulked on the inside. As you can see where the caulks are pushing through. My old flat lights up top, now that I have a bar, not only did I caulk it from the outside, I went ahead and reinforced it with Bondo and whatever leftover material I could. I need to come back and caulk this ring. Every exposed bottom part of my rivets had a little bit of rust on it. I sanded it down lightly. Got caulked. Every seam from where the sheet metal meets got caulked. As you can see here, these are the factory rivets. They obviously knew that it could be an issue, so there was actually black caulk over here where the fiberglass meets the sheet metal. I took out what I could and reinforced it with some new caulking. I painted all my steel beams, my ribs, to help with rust proofing. Well, to treat it and for any future moisture that could rust my metal. The screws that come in for my rub rails, I've caulked the back side. Again, these were replaced with stainless steel. The seam for the body where the sheet metal meets my inside rib, I went ahead and caulked that where the two sheet metals meet. This is my handicap rail. I went ahead and rust proofed that. The area that I took out where I had the gap that goes all the way through, new sheet metal, caulked the shit out of it, stainless steel screws, and caulked on top. And I went ahead and rust proofed the sheet metal that I put down. This seam is the floor. With that seam where the two metal meets, they had already caulked some. I peeled off the old stuff. I re-caulked it. I'm not sure if anybody even noticed in their school bus, but they should have caulk. The bolts, the floor down to the body of the vehicle, I went ahead and painted that also with rust protection. My windows, when I took them off, I ran caulking all the way around generously before I put the window back in, and then I also caulked the outside of it. As you can see here, guys, this is the inside gasket. The other part of the outside, the window sits in between. You see that moisture there? That moisture is because I haven't done the outside yet. So it builds up here and it runs along your channel, and then it gets inside and it messes up all your insulation, and it builds up there, and then it rusts out. See window. It has a lip here, but what I'm gonna do is put a weathering strip here, like they do in a home. So when it closes, it's sitting on the weathering strip all the way around. That'll help seal it a little bit. Actually, it'll help seal it a lot. This there is my new wheel well As you can see, the sheet metal goes from here all the way down. You want to, if you're going to cap it, you want to give a good amount to help with the support. This is also, the entire bus is rust proof. Another seam where the two metal floor meets. Got new caulk. Now I had to go, this I actually missed, and I didn't notice it until I had painted the floor, and then I could see the shadow. Back here, my other flashing lights did the same as the front. Now, on my last video, when I was showing you guys my gasket issues on the back window, this is what I meant by the inside is actually worse. See that gap? You're not supposed to have a gap. And that's where water will travel through, and it comes down, and it builds up there, and it totally, this is the worst of the water leak. It will totally eat up that metal back there and rust that out. And you can actually see down into your, onto the pavement. All my fixtures that I took off, I capped it, caulked it. I still need to tighten up my bolts for my taillights and caulk that. I've caulked it from the inside and the outside. So yeah, as you guys can probably guess, I have about freaking 3,000 pounds of caulk in the bus. But I don't care. I would rather sacrifice not taking Joey along. Okay, I'm lying. I would sacrifice not taking one of my chubby friends along than worry about the weight on the vehicle. It's taken me a very long time to get to this point, guys. I don't regret any of it, and I keep telling y'all that. I'm gonna show you my wins, but I'm mostly gonna show you my losses, because that's what my video series is about. Showing you guys the struggles. I mean, going out and buying a bus and just popping up beds and so on, to some people, that's what they want. For me, I bought a fixer-upper. Basically a fixer-upper house. And the first thing that most people do in a fixer-upper house is rip everything down, because they need to find out what issues they have and what repairs they need to do. I'm gonna be posted up in this bad boy. I don't need holes where rats can, field mice could roll up in and things like that. I need to build a sound creation, and that's why it's taking me forever. I've had this bus since October. Taking me about 2 months, solid 2 months to full demolition, and I'm just now in May, just now starting to prepare for framing. It's reality, man. Alright guys, so I hope you guys found the video useful. The walkthrough, and maybe apply it to yours, the areas that you may need help on. My upcoming videos on framing, just to give you a sneak peek on what I'll be applying and what I'll be discussing. A lot of folks talk about the weight of, they're concerned about the weight of the bus if they use 2x4s. So how many people actually know how much lumber weighs? Go ahead, I'll wait. Don't go fucking Googling now. You got to do your research before you apply things to your build. Don't look at other people's build and be like, oh well, so and so did it, they got to be doing it right. Do your research, guys. Don't be a follower. So a lot of folks worry about how heavy their bus is gonna get, so they use less size of a wood. Typically used in the United States, and I've done the research too, is dry pine. So take a 2x3x8 dry pine, for instance, weighs about 7.5 pounds. A 2x4x8 weighs 10.25 pounds approximately. So you're talking about a 2.5 to 2.75 pound difference. There are certain areas in your bus that you just should use a 2x4. Like on your floor, you know, you want to stretch out and distribute your weight on a good piece sized lumber. If you walk on your naked floor, you'll see that your sheet metal gives a little bit. Those are areas that you should be using a 2x4. So back to what I was saying, 2.5 pounds to 3/4 pounds difference. Most people carry about 20 to 40 gallons of water Do you guys know how much 5 gallons of water weighs? Approximately 41-ish, 42 pounds. The reason why I'm comparing is, if you eliminate 5 gallons of water, instead of using 2x3s, you can actually use 15 2x4s. Instead of using the 2x3s in certain areas. And I know a lot of people carry a lot of water, but do you really need 100,000 gallons? No. But you see where I'm going with that, guys? It's important that you know instead of watching and copying. One other thing that I'll be addressing is thermotransfer, temperature transfer, when people are framing. I've seen people use fairings over their ribs, metal ribs, because they want to have a thermal break. Bruh! Wood is a conductor of thermotransfer. You can't use something that conducts to break something that conducts. I'll be addressing that also. So, yeah. Alright, man. This video's long enough. Be good. Be good to each other. Your boy Biggs loves you. I'll see y'all on the flip side. Bolo Biggs out. Deuces.
The HwyLIFE, based on a true story.